Welcome to the Animated podcast, where I sit down with animators and creatives to discuss the ins and outs of their creative process. From sketch phase to final renders, I'm your host, MF Scribbles, and in today's episode, I sit down with Alex, an animator you may know better by the name of ANIMUNCH. Over the past few years, he's made a name for himself with his animated comedy sketches across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, making parody videos based off well-known pop culture characters like Scooby-Doo, Super Mario, Winnie the Pooh, Thomas the Tank Engine, the list goes on and on. No character is safe once they find themselves in an ANIMUNCH video. This is a really fun episode. I myself, like Alex, also enjoy making funny animated sketches. So we really nerd out on the whole process from script writing, storyboarding, voice acting, animating, compositing, to all end up with a video that you question, is this even good? If making funny sketch comedy animation is something that you like to do, or something you're interested in getting into, or maybe you're just a fan that likes to see some of the behind the scenes, you're going to really enjoy this episode. So get ready to laugh as we explore the creative process behind ANIMUNCH and take a deep dive into how they make it in this episode of I Made It. Thanks for joining me today, Alex. How you doing?
No worries. Doing pretty well. What about you?
Good, man. Yeah, just been working.
Is it night over there, or what time is it?
Yeah, it's 7 over here. And
Okay.
yeah, it's 9 a.m. Sunday for you over there, right?
Yep. That's right. Yep.
I forget that Australia, you guys are like a whole 16 hours ahead of us. You're like in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I actually lived in New Zealand for a while, and back in like 2014. So, and you guys are like, yeah, same time zone basically.
They're basically
I
Australia.
completely forgot about having to like contact family and stuff when I was over there. It's kind of a hectic thing. But yeah, you're an animator. You've been making funny animations for how long now?
Oh, geez, for years. I started ANIMUNCH like 9 or 10 years ago. I think 9. And I didn't start posting. Like, I created the account on YouTube and like Facebook and Instagram 9 or 10 years ago, but I didn't start actually making like the comedy shorts until like 2020, somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
So like I had it for a while, just sort of laying dormant until I actually had some skills.
But you were already animating, obviously, right?
Yeah. So I started that when I was in at university. I was like, all right, I want to do this once I'm out. I just need to learn the skills first. So it's been a good few years, but I think just like the last few years is when I've like sort of figured things out, I suppose.
Yeah, so what was it that finally made you, have you just always been interested in animated comedy?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I was growing up, I mean, I grew up with like a lot of like probably the same Western animated shows that you did, like my favorite shows when I was a kid. I remember like everyone was watching like Simpsons when I was a kid, and I was off that. I was on Family Guy, I was on Drawn Together, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I mean, this isn't when I'm a kid. This is like, 12, 13 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, those shows were just my bread and butter. Loved those, looked up to them so much. So yeah, I think, and then I was like making animations in Microsoft Paint. I had a few YouTube channels that like, God, the shit I was putting out there was horrendous, but
Were you were uploading stuff when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. I've been uploading since I was 11 onto YouTube, and most of it was just absolute dog shit garbage. But
are those still up?
It is, unfortunately, yeah. I'll tell you the name after the podcast. Okay, I don't want that out there. I don't want people watching that. So I've been always interested in it, but it wasn't until sort of like the last maybe 5 years or so that it's like, all right, I've grown some skills in the area, so I'm able to sort of realistically create my vision now. I'm sure it's probably the same with you. Like when you first get into it, you have all these ideas that you're like, this is going to be so good, but you don't have the talent or skill set to actually do them properly yet.
Yeah.
Like that's what I found. Like I had all these ideas, but I didn't know how to do it yet. So yeah, that's been one good thing about just grinding away and sticking at it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, yeah. Well, I mean, while we're on that, obviously you've figured out how to do it. So how do you usually do your animations? Like, what programs are you using?
Toon Boom Harmony.
Okay,
That's
nice.
my main one. I used to use, so when I was at university, I actually studied 3D animation, but the standard
Oh, okay.
was for 2D animation, the standard was Adobe Animate, and then TV Paint we could learn as well.
Yeah,
But
I
I
learned
remember,
TV Paint in college as well.
but I remember at the time, like I was just looking at all the animated shows that were coming out, and I'm like, they're all using this program called Toon Boom Harmony. I'm like, why is no one teaching this? Because that's like when I was looking at jobs and stuff before I even graduated, I'm like, they all require Toon Boom Harmony. Why haven't I learned that? So I downloaded a trial and then I just jumped into it. Just sort of there's like fortunately so many YouTube tutorials on it that I just followed those and self-taught it. But yeah, so Toon Boom Harmony, Adobe Creative Suite for editing, and After Effects and things like that. What else?
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it now. There's been a few times where I've used Toon Boom Storyboard Pro, but I haven't used that in probably 12 months, I reckon. So yeah, that's my whole software.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's surprising that you were able to kind of teach yourself Toon Boom because it's like not an easy program to learn, I find. Especially compared to other programs, just since it's so expensive. I feel like I mean there are definitely the tutorials on YouTube, but there's a lot less than like other programs like Adobe Flash or Blender and After Effects and stuff, just because it's just so much more expensive. I feel like most people I know that know Toon Boom, if I like hire them for something, it's like they don't have their own Toon Boom. They need to like have a license whenever they get hired at a studio.
yeah, that's very common. Yeah, I think it's the same here in Melbourne. Like, well, so what happened was I when I was learning Toon Boom, it was for my graduate animation project, and I made this animated pilot. And you can tell that I was fresh into Toon Boom now that I watched that pilot. I'm like, I don't know, like I didn't know how to use half the features and stuff,
Yeah.
um, but the good part about that was like I just jumped straight into it, and I'm like, I have to learn it. This is what I'm going to make this pilot in. And so yeah, I just watched. I didn't use many of the rigging tools. Maybe that's what you're referring to. That's like the difficult part. I have I
Yeah,
have
I guess because
since
it's like you can do so much in it. Yeah.
like learnt a lot of that stuff, but at the time it was all just frame by frame. And
Oh,
like I
okay.
used like the 3D perspective tool. Yeah, I used all that stuff, but yeah, there wasn't much rigging in the first one. But I know what you mean it because it is an expensive program. And then I bought the perpetual license back in 2018, I think, or 2019,
Yeah.
and that was like 3.5 grand or something
Oh,
Australian.
wow.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm just that I still use the same. I use the same program now, so I haven't upgraded.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the pilot that you worked on?
It was called
Or-
Golden Pussy.
Okay.
It's it was like a parody. It looks a lot like Archer now that when you watch it, but it was a very similar vibe. It was about this detective cat in Chicago, and he's got this bodyguard that carries him around everywhere on a pillow, and he just makes these executive decisions, and his bodyguard does all the action, like fights all the criminals and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it was an interesting pilot. At the time, I was like, man, this is red hot. Like, I knew nothing about the industry. I'm like, I'm gonna sell this thing, no problem. I remember like pitching it to Adult Swim on there, like you know how they used to do that live stream, like that
Oh, yeah.
pitch development meeting.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
I remember pitching it in there, and I was so green. I'm like, man, I'm gonna clean up in here. You guys wait. And I pitched
Yeah.
it, and they were just like, I remember one person on there just roasted the fuck out of me. They're just like, they
Oh
were like,
no.
They were like, what is this? What are we living in 2004 making like dogs versus cats type animations? Like, come on, people. But they gave me because at the end of each meeting they would give people money for like the best pictures. I still got the money, but they were
Oh,
like, yeah,
nice.
they were like, it's not 2004 anymore, man. You got to move on.
Oh man, what year was this?
Oh, this is 2019, like the start of
Okay.
2019.
Okay. So yeah, relatively recently.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, after that I was like, oh fuck doing a pilot, man. I'm just gonna make shorts.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of the way it's going now in the industry. So, kind of worked out in your advantage, I guess.
I
So,
think
are
so,
you
yeah.
on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Same name, ANIMUNCH on all the socials and YouTube and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have longer form stuff on there, or are you just kind of uploading the same shorts that you do on Instagram and TikTok?
Mostly just shorts. Like I've started making some like live action. Well, when I say live action, they're not like live action comedy like videos, but I've just been doing like ranking videos, and like I've done a few sort of video essay type things to do with animation stuff that's happening in the industry. But apart from that, yeah, it's just comedy shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Um, and are you just making these by yourself?
It depends. So for the ideas, so there's so even though I started it a while ago, there's also my friend Scott, who he's also an animator. He's not really in the industry anymore, but we've got the same sense of humor, and we've got a group chat, and we just called ANIMUNCH Ideas. There's me, him, and my friend Jaden, who does almost all the voices. If there's ever any like impressions of characters in my videos, it's my friend Jaden.
Okay.
Three of us in a group chat, and we just throw ideas at each other constantly. And
Nice.
90% of them are terrible, but they're like every now and then we're like, that one's a goer, that one's a banger, let's do it. So in terms of ideas, it's us three. And then when it comes to animation, generally I'll animate them. If I need another set of hands, I know so many animators here in Melbourne. I just reach out and grab
Nice.
someone. But yeah, for the most part, it's me. I'm always drawing the characters, doing the animatics, everything like that. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, do you want to get into kind of your process from like start to finish? Like that's kind of the main goal for these episodes that I'm trying to do, is like talk to people about whenever they either start a personal project, like I guess obviously for you it's more like personal projects because you upload them online, right? It's not like client work. I mean, I'm sure you probably do client work as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever you're starting off with the idea, and then from there you want to just go through like your whole process from like script all the way to your like final render of the video.
Yeah, for sure. I've got it all. I've got one video open in front of me as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So let's see. I did an Elmo animation a few weeks ago. And I'll use that as an example. So same thing, like I've got the group chat. We're constantly throwing just ideas at each other, and half the time, like I'd say, yeah, 90% of them are just not good, or there's like something in there that I think works, and we just like throw that into the maybe pile. So I had this idea for Elmo going to rehab, like Tickle Me Elmo going to rehab.
Yeah.
For Tickles, he's obsessed, and he's like a junkie, like, you know, scratching his arms and stuff, and like Big Bird like throws an intervention with like all the Sesame Street characters about how he's just become this mess. And I remember like pitching it to the guys, and they were like, yeah, I don't know, there's something there, but like, because we always want to like condense it down into like 30 or 15 seconds, and that can be really difficult sometimes. So we're like, we need to simplify it. So then Scott one day just threw in the group chat, he's like maybe something like there's like a toy factory or something, and then like there's been some mix up where the factory worker was supposed to give him testicles, but instead he ends up with like a ball sack, like testicles. And I'm like, oh man, that's it. That's the one.
Nice.
So this is where it sort of goes. Like, so he pitches that, and then I immediately, I'll share my screen here. All right. So basically my process is, when he does that, I then write up a script, and usually in that scripts, I just come up with a few different punchlines, generally like 2 to 3, and then immediately before we've locked anything in, I just need to draw it. I need to have some sort of visual. So it'll start with something like this, which is just like a real crude drawing where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just come up with like, I can picture it in my head, but it's not so like, it's not clear yet. So I'm just like, it's something like this, right? It's like,
Right.
we got the worker on the right there, we got the boss on the left, and then we got this Alamo that wasn't used for the final. And I'm like, I pictured it as just one shot. So so this is sort of how it starts. And then when I've got that script, I do like a mock-up recording. And I just sort of go like, I just record just with my voice before I've organized the voice actors yet. Like, all right, I think this is what this could be. And then from there, yeah, so I do all my editing and stuff in Premiere. So I don't actually have the original animatic in here. Sorry, I can't show that, but I've pretty much just got that one storyboard panel and then like the finals here. But
Yeah.
it initially started out as this here. This was the first version of the animation. Hopefully you can hear this. Mate, I think you misunderstood me. I said you need to give Elmo 2 test tickles before shipping.
Ah, test tickles? I thought you said...
Elmo doesn't mind. Elmo's feeling something he's never felt before, baby.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so that was the first version. And my usual process is like we watched it, and I do this with all the animations. I'm like, this isn't as funny as it could be. Like,
Yeah.
we've nailed the concept, but the punchline isn't as funny as it could be. And so obviously, you know, we're drawing attention to the fact that then Elmo's then ended up with testicles. But
Yeah.
I'm like, we can do this a funnier way. So I pitched this one, which was the final. So it yeah, I was like, it can be funnier. We just need to work on the punchline for this. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's going to be way funnier having someone actually receive this, open it up, expecting this innocent tickle me Elmo. And then he's there with like this deep voice because obviously he's got testicles now and he's got testosterone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's generally my process. Just from like production standpoint, I've also got my harmony files here as well. So what I would usually, this might look like a bit of a mess. I'm sorry to anyone watching.
Oh, dude, mine looks so terrible, especially when I used to use Toon Boom. It's just like, like if nobody's gonna touch it but me, I'm just like just screwing everything up. So
yeah, no, I totally get it. That's yeah. I try to at least like I put everything in like master pegs and stuff, so it's like it's tidied up a bit. But yeah, so generally, like I showed with that very rough storyboard, I would just mock up. I do sort of key poses. I do pose to pose animation. So I don't have the original layer in here that just had the character poses, but you can tell from this like very basic movements. Like, you know, we got the worker here. He changes positions like 4 times.
yeah.
Really sort of basic stuff, but it gets the job done. Yeah, so I would generally just mock up those poses, do that for the animatic, and then go back and do the in-betweens.
Yeah, so you're just doing key poses at first.
Yeah, so pretty basic stuff, but
Yeah.
I sort of take the Hanna-Barbera approach, like just move what needs to be moved.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just whatever can get the job done, just to land the joke, basically. Because I suppose that's the good thing about doing comedy animation. The focus isn't so much on the visuals. You're not trying to razzle dazzle impress anyone. You're just you've got a joke and you need to execute it the best way possible.
Yeah.
So that sort of becomes the focus. But yeah, so that was pretty much the process for this one. And yeah, most of my animations follow the exact same formula, just ideas. I immediately do like a really rough script, and then I'll want to I don't know about other people, I just have to draw it immediately. Whatever, it won't be perfect, but like I just need to get that idea out of my head onto the screen so I can actually see how it plays out.
Right. Yeah, because having to come up with like where all the characters are going to stand in the scene and everything.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I think as well, just because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes as well, like we'll write something and it'll be so funny, and then I'll draw it and it just won't translate well. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. Like sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah.
You have to draw it to see if this is going to work visually because animation is so visual. There's certain things that have to click right. And like some jokes just don't work that well where it's like this would be better like just as a live action gag rather than animation.
Yeah, for sure. So whenever you do, you're generally just doing everything digitally, like even your storyboards, you're just doing them within Toon Boom? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've just simplified it now. I just do it all in Toon Boom. I just do the initial because they're so short. I don't need to do like some detailed animatic or anything.
Yeah.
I just draw like 3 storyboard panels, like the one I showed you. And yeah, that's it. Just do that in Harmony, and then once I'm like, right, this is a banger, then I just start animating.
Nice. Okay. And then, yeah, do you have like, because I did notice when I was looking through some of your other pieces, that you have like similar repeating movements and stuff. Is that like, do you have your saved? Because we used to do this. I used to actually work at a company where we would make like YouTube animations, and I helped them start off a few different channels, but the one that really picked up was a channel called Game Tunes, and it's whatever weird video games kids are into. We just make
Yeah.
animations about it, and we would do like, I forgot what they're called now because I haven't used it in a while, but they were like like animated presets that you could like put in within Game Tunes. Is that like what you're doing?
It is to
Or within Toon Boom?
Yeah, so we've got the library of like just assets. And so there's definitely a few things. Like I always get my friends here in Melbourne, like my animation friends always make fun of like, yeah, I've got like 3 different movements that all my characters do in each animation. So yeah, I've got a library. I've got like 3 or 4 different lip syncs. I tend to reuse those like mouth shapes.
Yeah.
Same with the eyes. Yeah. So when it comes to the movements of like it's generally the upper torso that I move a lot. And so, yeah, it'll be like arm movements, different poses and things. Sometimes I suppose it's difficult because if I'm doing parodies and it's like well-known characters and stuff, I can't really reuse that stuff because it's their anatomy is so different. If it's human characters, I've definitely reused stuff before. But yeah, in general, I just do like pretty basic movements. I'm not trying to, do anything Disney-esque.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it does save a bit of time just having that library there where I'm like, all right, let me just pull some stuff from here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as it gets the joke across and it speeds things up. How long does it usually take you to do like one of your shorts?
It sort of varies. So like it depends if I can do them like a few days in a row, which is like very rare. Like generally I have to do it like at night or something. So I have to like I have to balance it a little bit. But in a row, like that Elmo sketch, I did that one in a row. That I think was like 4 or 5 days, something like that. So that was from idea to backgrounds, animating the characters, etc., and then also changing the punchline. So yeah, it's been good that also like my main voice actor Jaden, who voices Elmo in that, because he's one of my good friends and he's got an audio like recording booth in his house, he can just do it immediately, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been it's that part's also pretty handy. Otherwise, you'd just be waiting around for ages for voice actors to get back to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's so much more helpful when you actually have people to do it. Do you ever do any of your own voices?
If there's an Australian voice that you hear, it's mine. So so in that one, I voiced the boss. My friend Jaden voiced the worker, and then he voiced Elmo. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I've been trying to like get more into doing some of my own voices because I have friends and I like know I've been meeting more and more people that are like willing to do voices, but I don't want to like always rely on other people. So I'm just like, I should try it. But I'm not like I'm not a voice actor. So I can't do like crazy, weird, wacky voices. At least I haven't practiced enough. But yeah, that's something I've been like wanting to try try
the
and
worst
dive
part
more
as
into.
well is like you're saying, like you've got friends and people around that can voice it, is like sometimes it doesn't fit. I've been in this situation so many times where like I'll get something back from someone, I'm like, man, this isn't working, I don't know how to tell them. And I'll just be like, look, I'm so sorry, like it's not working, like,
Yeah.
because comedy is such a fickle thing that if the delivery's not good, it throws off the whole joke, and it's like we can't use it. Or well, I can, but it's like I'd be risking it not landing properly. So
Yeah.
I've been in that. That's why I'm just like, let me just stick to like the few. There's me, my friend Jaden. I've got 2 American voice actors I work with, and then there's a few here in Melbourne or just like around Australia that I'll use, but I don't know. My whole thing is like whoever can voice it the best, I'm going to give it to. I'm not. I remember when I first started, maybe around like in 2020, I remember I was trying to grow my channel. I had some like pretty big social media accounts and stuff like follow me, and I remember asking them, hey, can you please do a voice, because I'm like, I'm going to get exposure from this, I'm going to get their
Yeah.
audience. But then once you start like building up an audience, you're like, you really don't need to do that anymore. Like, just once people are on board with your stuff, as long as it's funny, who cares?
Right.
Yeah, I stopped doing that a while ago. I'm like, let's just, the 3 of us will just voice it.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what people did you get to do voices before?
Are you talking about like when I was like trying to get
Yeah, when you were like reaching out to people, was there anyone that you got that you're like
probably
were
no one
excited
that you would
about?
know, like more like locally well
Okay.
known here in Melbourne, like people on the radio and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one that's like big in the US, I don't think.
That's cool though. Were they all like pretty willing to do it?
They were. You'd be surprised. Like you could pretty much reach out to anyone, and people would be.
I know everybody. You find out that like everyone would love to be a voice in a cartoon.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, that's what I found as well. Like, well, I get asked now by people, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'd love to. I mean, obviously, I come from animation, but it's like, of course, you want to end up in someone's cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also another reason why I would want to start putting my voice in a lot of my own stuff, because then, yeah, as I build an audience, like if somebody reaches out and they want to collab with me, but maybe it's another animator like yourself, like I would want to just like the best way to do that is just like voice a character. Like right now, I feel like if I had voiced a character for one of your animations, like it wouldn't go very well because people don't know my voice, right? So it's like, okay, I guess that's cool that this other animator voiced it, but
I wouldn't. I mean, that wouldn't really matter because I would probably just be casting you in just like as in like an American role, right?
Right.
And it's like you've got the voice, so that's all that matters. I don't need any like crazy.
Right, I guess that's true.
Because like the American voice actors that I work with, they're not doing character impressions; they're just doing American voices, basically.
Yeah.
So, as long as they can do their own accent, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I guess it's
because half the American accents in mine have just been me half the time. If it's just like a few words or something, I'm like, well, I'll just do that.
Oh, really? It'll just be you doing an American accent?
If it's just like a sentence or like a few words, I'll do it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like no, it'll become too obvious. If not, I better get American.
Is there a reason that you go for doing American accents in yours? Because I didn't even realize until you mentioned you were in Australia that you were Australian. Because most of your cartoons are in American accents.
I think it's like if I'm doing a parody of a series, because obviously like 80% of my stuff are parodies. I just use the accents from that series. I've done quite a few parodies of American shows, a lot of like Nintendo type parodies. Obviously, I'm going to use.
Yeah.
I'll use American accents for that. And then also I've done like parodies of a lot of like UK shows, Thomas the Tank Engine, Postman Pat. We're working on one, Peppa Pig. Anything like that will match those accents as well. If there's the only one where I've sort of had a crossover between Australian and American is I do this character called Scooby-Roo, which is just like this kangaroo character, and I just put him in Scooby-Doo like episodes.
Yeah.
But all the characters are just normal, they're themselves, and then there's just this character that's completely out of place.
I watched.
So that's the only one where I've got like a crossover between the both. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I know you were mentioning before how you kind of grew up watching The Simpsons and Family Guy and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. When you're doing your animations, like you obviously kind of stick to a similar style. What inspired you to start animating in the style that you animate?
It's sort of it's not my natural style. So basically what happened is around 2020, me and my friend Scott, who he used to work a lot more in the animation industry, when we worked on like 2 shorts, and then he was like, can I just join? Can we just start making stuff? Because we've got like sort of good chemistry here. I'm like, absolutely. We've got the same sense of humor and everything. But we had 2 very different art styles. And I was like, we can't, I don't know, just like on like the first short, it was difficult because you could tell that we were like which parts we each did. And I'm
Oh,
like, we're gonna have to like mold this into something because we're gonna have to start making character sheets and things.
yeah.
So the style it came out of both of us needing to combine our styles and simplify it. And we started doing these character sheets where we really like the features of each character were really like rounded out, really simplified. It looked a lot more like Western animation. And so it sort of just was born out of that. We just needed to both of us have something that we could both work with and was simplified. And then
Right.
I just stuck with it because after a while I was just like, oh, this is what people expect from us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
it's changed over time a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. That's something that I brought up a few times, but I kind of struggle with like sticking to just one style, which I feel like I need to just go back and like just pick one and then stick with it so that people can know me from a specific style. Because even like in the Cybertruck animations, those are pretty different than like the gnome animations that I've done. And I should just kind of try and bleed them together and like make them into one. Because yeah, I feel like a lot of times people might like scroll past a video of mine, maybe like keep scrolling because they don't realize it's one of mine. They think it might be just some other like animation channel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know really where I stand with this stuff because it's like, I don't know. I personally found that it doesn't affect like if I've got heaps of creators that I like who I like and I love to watch their stuff. That does stuff never really phases me if like it's a different style. I suppose
Yeah.
like in terms of like recognition and being able to like if you're just a random person being able to recognize it immediately, I know what you're saying. But I don't think it really affects like the growth or anything of an artist. I think it's just like it helps to be able to recognize if you've got like a few staple things that are similar in all your animations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like besides the art style, you have anything else that in like the way you animate or anything that feels like a staple to you that you like to stick to?
Yeah. Let me see. I love there's a few different things that like are very common. Um I've got 2 types of comedy animations. I've got wordplay type setup and punchlines where it's a very like the joke works verbally. And then I've got animations that I call the lost episodes where it's just I take characters from a franchise and just put them in the most fucked up situation. And it doesn't make sense from a comedy writing perspective because if you watch them, if you read the scripts for them, because they're like 15 seconds long, it's not funny on the page, but I know when I'm going into this is going to be a banger. And it's
Yeah.
like, and it's a weird sort of thing where like, those are sort of the things I think I'm most well known for in terms of animations. I'll do like one that's like well thought out joke, and then the other one is just like I did this one last year that was Wallace and Gromit, the lost episode. And like if you read that in script form, you'd think this doesn't even make any sense. And then you watch it and it makes me laugh it's like one of our most successful videos. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just one of those weird things you can get away with animation. But I think in terms of staple, that's sort of something that I'm constantly doing. Every second animation is one of those lost episodes. It's just an excuse to just do something really random that's fun. Something fun for animators because it's a lot more visually focused. The staples are like, unfortunately, those few movements, people always call me out for it on YouTube. They're always like, here he goes with that arm movement again.
Oh really? Do people put it in the comments?
Oh, people, call it out big time. Yeah, it makes me laugh every time. There's that. I don't know. I think because I've got like just library of assets now, and obviously the lip syncs and a lot of like the blinking and stuff like that is the same across all my animations. So I think that's probably it really from like a production standpoint. That's like similar across all my videos.
Yeah.
And I also get people are always like, why are so many of your jokes like sexual or like just grotesque? And I'm like, because that's what makes us laugh. That's unfortunately 90% of the ideas I come up with are just, I'm working on one right now called Luigi's Playboy Mansion. And I'm like, of course I'm going to go there with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, it's like of course they're all like raunchy. It's like I'm coming up with these ideas in like a guy's group chat with my
Yeah,
buddies.
exactly. Yeah. You like, it's so weird. Every like second week, I'm like, all right, come on, guys, we gotta pull it together, and we gotta really come up with something here that's like fun for the whole family. Like, we need to come up with something that's like anyone can watch. It's not raunchy, it's not grotesque. And every time we're like, oh man, I got nothing. Like, it's just like, and then one of my like Scott will just like post like a tumbleweed gif in the chat because we can't come up with anything.
It's
And I'm
just
like, man,
that side of our brains just like empty. You can't think of any any good ideas over there.
it's so hard. I don't know how
Yeah.
people like, because it's such a different type of comedy as well. Like, and there's an audience out there for it. Like I'm well aware because I see it all the time. But it's like, man, I can't come up with anything for this. It's like, I think as well because it just doesn't make me laugh. Like, even if I come up with the idea, it probably just wouldn't usually make me laugh because that's not the stuff I really go to that much.
Yeah.
So then naturally, I'm like, any idea that does make me laugh, it's usually really dark or it's really raunchy or all the above. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially if you're the one animating it, like you gotta think it's funny because there's been plenty of times of animated stuff that I'm just like, I don't think it's funny. Or when I used to work at the company I worked at, like sometimes I would think something's funny and then I would have someone else animate it, and they were just like they weren't really hitting the marks I wanted them to hit. So it's just like there's just a disconnect if you're not clicking with what you're animating with, or if somebody else isn't clicking with something that you wrote or thought would be funny, then it just like it's not gonna work. So
Exactly. Yeah, you have to. That's the thing. There has to be something in it, even if it's like, even if immediately, like, because obviously a lot of this stuff comes together in the final export once you see it all there visually. But if there's not something that you like really think is like, we've got something here just in the animatic or just hearing the audio bed, then yeah, it's probably a red flag that I don't know how this is going to turn out. Yeah, I've been in the same situation, and I've sent it to. I'm friends with a lot of content creators and animators here in Melbourne, and like, we're all very honest with each other. I'll just be like, what do you think of this? If it's the animatic, if I'm not quite sure about it, and they'll be like, no, that's shit. You can do better than that. Or they'll be like they'll suggest this. I'll be like, try this instead. Move this part here. Have this as the punchline. I'm like, that's it. Thanks. So that also helps because sometimes there is something there, but it's like, I haven't quite done it the right way. And then someone else just comes in. They're like, no, you just need to move this here. This needs to happen this way. And I'm like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you usually feel like because I kind of feel like when I know I really have something good if just the audio without visuals makes me laugh, which is pretty rare, but sometimes it happens that you can just listen to the audio and you're like cracking up, and then it's like, cool. Now the animation is just like the icing on top, you know?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like
I've got two that comes to mind for that?
Yeah. Yeah. Which ones of yours?
I did a Winnie the Pooh animation that actually, yeah, there's two here actually. Do I still have it? Yeah, here we go. This up. Yeah, like I was saying with the Lost episodes, I have this animation called Winnie the Pooh, the Lost episode that was also called Oh Stepbother. And so okay, so the premise of this animation is that Winnie the Pooh gets stuck in this honey jar, like trying to get to the bottom of the honey jar to get the honey out, gets stuck on his head, and then he gets stuck out like those memes of like the stepsister stuck in like an oven or under a bed or something. This one came about because I was trying to come up with like Winnie the Pooh ideas, and Scott was like, I don't know, like what if he gets stuck in like in like the honey jar, or like he gets stuck in like a cupboard or something like he used to in like the Disney shorts. I'm like, and then I don't know if Jaden threw in like, 'cause he does the voice and he's like, oh, stepbother, and I'm like, oh man, we've got something here. So So I'll share my screen here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So this is Winnie the Pooh, the Lost episode. This is one where I heard my friend Jaden, who does the voices. It helps that he does flawless character impressions. He just pulled this Winnie the Pooh accent out of nowhere, and just hearing this audio, I'll show you just without the.
Yeah.
It made me laugh so much.
No, I can't get to the bottom of this, honey. Oh, brother, stepbrother, help me.
Yeah, you look like you stuck in a real sticky situation there, boy. Lucky for you, I got me a sweet tooth.
Oh, dear.
All right, so just without, I
So
remember
good.
hearing that. Just maybe even without the music. Just when he sent me those voices back, I was dying laughing hearing that, and I'm like, man, this we got one here. And then obviously by the time the visuals come in, yeah. So it was like, man, I was like, this is a banger right away.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, I did a Harry Potter. You know that mirror in the first, I think it's in a few of the Harry Potters, like the mirror of Erised, the one where it shows you what you want to see.
Oh yeah.
We did one where Harry's looking in and Dobby's just this lusty elf with like big boobs, and like it's like flirting with Harry through the mirror, and he's just like horrified about it. Same with that one. Like Jaden sent me the voices for that because he can just do this flawless Dobby impression. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah. So there are a few, like you're saying, where I'm like, man, this is a banger right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any that maybe you feel like you didn't really think was going to be funny until like the very end, and then you were like, oh, it actually worked out?
Oh, probably 60% of them.
Yeah.
Half the time, yeah, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like with animation, you watch it so many times as well. Like, I always try to remind myself, if the original idea we came up with made me laugh, there's something there. But then what happens is when you get into animation, like you've recorded the voices,
constantly.
you've done the animatic, you've drawn the characters,
Yeah.
you're animating, but
Yes,
you've
yes.
listened to it so many goddamn times that by the end of it, you're like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Like no one's going to find this funny because you're not laughing anymore. And then you forget that no one else has seen this for the first time, and you upload it, and then they're like, they find it funny because they haven't seen it all come together like that the way we have.
Yeah.
There are quite a few that I thought were just going to be complete dog shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about this too a little bit in a previous episode, but yeah, I'm pretty sure every animation I upload, I don't find them funny anymore by the time I upload them. Like I just have that's why I honestly try to get storyboards done as quickly as possible, because then it's still kind of fresh to me. And if the storyboard's good, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I already know the cuts and everything are going to be funny. But yeah, by the time I'm done and cleaning everything up, adding color, I'm just like, doesn't make me laugh anymore. And then
exactly. That's why, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I've got, there are a few in here that I thought, let me see. I started a Transformers one a few weeks ago that I shelved. I'll come back to it, but yeah, like it was one of those things where I could recognize it. I'd just done the animatic and I'm like, this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to change the angle of the joke here. So I've shelved it for now. That was one where I could tell immediately halfway through. I'm like, no, I'm going to have to work on this more. In terms of ones that I actually have put out, I did one maybe like a month and a half ago about Clifford. That was just like such a stupid like gag.
Oh yeah, the one that there's like shit all over the
yard.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like just such like a low hanging fruit joke, but it went viral. So I was like, all right, I'll take that.
Oh, nice. I thought that one was a pretty good joke. I mean, I've never seen anybody make that joke before, and it's so true. It's like, yeah, Clifford would be like putting down huge turds everywhere all over the neighborhood if that was a real thing.
Of course, yeah. But I think it's one of those things where like sometimes what it comes down to is like, I'm like, that joke is too easy. Like it's one of those things where it's like people must have thought of this. And like, so one thing I've done like the last few years is every time I come up with an idea, I Google it, I look up Robot Chicken, I look up Family Guy, I look up Simpsons, and I'm like, I type in the joke and then whatever the show is next to, I'm like, I'm like, let me see if someone's done this already. And if they haven't, I'll make it. But like even then sometimes like with the Clifford one, I'm like, someone must have done this. And
Yeah,
then
that almost does seem like something that would be in like a Family Guy cutaway.
yeah. So I looked it up, couldn't see anything. And I'm like, but even because I'm like, it's so obvious, I think that's why I doubted it, because if it's too obvious to me, I'm like, people aren't going to be surprised by this, but they were. I did one called, I did one last year. I don't remember what I called it in the end. It was like working in a corporate office, and it was like this guy's trying to get a sick day because he's got like an alien chest burster like in his ribs.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I need the rest of today off. I'm not feeling well. And the boss is like, no, mate, we're low on staff and stuff. And then like the alien just bursts out of his chest, like, and there's gore and like blood all over the place. And then the guy's dead on the floor, and then he just looks at like the little face hugger, like chest burster. He's like, do you want a job? And then the chest burster's like, yeah, all right. And then next thing you know, he's in the office like typing away on a computer and stuff. Like to me, that was like, I'm like, this is so stupid. I don't think this is going to do well. And ended up being one of our best videos of all time. You never know. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. And that's just like how it works. The ones that you feel like, oh, this is going to do gangbusters, this is going to do so well, just doesn't get any traction. And then the ones that you're like, I guess I'll post this, I don't really want to, all of a sudden that one does really well. It's weird how I feel like everybody has that experience for some reason on social media. Even non-animators, I've heard of people just illustrators and stuff. They're like, I'll draw something in like 10 minutes and upload it, and then that one goes super well, and then I'll spend like a week on something and that one doesn't do well.
I think what it is as well is like, I've noticed like the ones that do really well on social media are ones where the idea is relatable in some way. Like those ideas don't tend to do too well on YouTube. But on social media, people want to share stuff that's relatable. And like, that's like something like that office idea with like sick leave and stuff. That even though I've taken like a really obscure approach to that, people like all the comments were about trying to get sick leave at work. I'm like, this is crazy. That was just like, that wasn't even the main purpose of this joke, but
yeah.
I had one more. I did this Wiggles animation a few years ago. That me and Scott thought, all right, this is like such a throwaway idea. It was sitting on the back burner. Yeah, so this is the only other one that I've been like, that just went crazy online. And I thought this is such like a throwaway idea that I can't believe no one's thought of yet. Let me see here, which one. God, I end up with so many bloody renders.
Oh yeah, that's how mine also looks. Just 10 different versions.
It has to be this one.
You're doing great, honey. Keep pushing.
Push. And it's a blue wiggle.
A blue wiggle?
Honey, it's not what it seems.
You know what? I think I might just toot, chugga, get the fuck out of here.
Hot potato. You're doing...
So we made that. The idea was just like, I don't know if you're that aware of the Wiggles. Like, I didn't know it was that well known at like worldwide, because obviously it was made here in Sydney. Well, not where I am, but in Australia.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that, because it's pretty popular here.
Yeah. It was the show was made in Sydney, and so the idea was just like the simple idea of the baby comes out, a different color or whatever, and it's like clear the wife's been cheating or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've got the Wiggles are known for their t-shirts because they're those like 4 colors, right? What if the baby just came out wearing a different colored shirt compared to the dad? That was the whole joke. And I'm like, it's such a throwaway, shitty idea. I'm like, it's funny though. We made it. It just went here in Australia. It went ballistic. The actual blue Wiggle saw it on TikTok. The guy that plays him. Really? And like it just went gangbusters.
He commented on it.
I think he may have actually, because people kept tagging him in it. It had like 300 comments tagging his account.
Oh,
and
my God.
Something happened like that where, he had seen it. So I was just like, you just never know with this stuff. Like, but those are all the examples where we were like, we weren't expecting that pretty much.
Yeah, that's so sick. So when you're making these, you're making them in Toon Boom. I have a question that I honestly... this one probably I know the answer to already, but I was just going to ask what your favorite place to work at is. Are you generally just like at home doing these?
Yeah. So for the last, so these so right now I'm in my office, which is at my home. And I've worked from home for like 5 years now, because it's just like pretty much everything I do, like all the animations obviously I do at home, like the comedy shorts, they're not how I make my living, because I get income from YouTube and Meta and stuff, but it's like you can't
Yeah,
really live
not
off
enough.
that here in Australia, especially with like you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're in the same top 10 most expensive cities in the world. So yeah. So all my work, like when it comes to client stuff or work for other studios, it's all just done from home. Like in Australia, half the studios in Australia don't even have a physical office anymore. Everything's just like done online or done over Slack.
Yeah, since the pandemic.
Yeah. So yeah, I just work from home now. So yeah, I'd say my favorite place is definitely, I prefer like a quieter setting as well, because I just like to jump in, listen to music, start animating, don't have people bothering me, trying to tell me things. So yeah, this is definitely my preference for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've also been working from home since I was sent home back in 2020. That never went
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, there definitely has a lot of perks. I think some people hate it. For me personally, I love it.
Yeah.
I like that separation.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I also have always been longing to like work in an office with other animators. I don't know, just to bounce ideas off of each other and stuff. Like, I think there are certain things that get lost in the weeds sometimes. If you're working at a
Yeah.
studio, ideas that maybe somebody has, and it just gets kind of thrown, like left under the rug because nobody just spits it out, because it's like you got to like set up a meeting. Like, you're not going to be like, I got two funny ideas, let's set up a meeting. So
Yeah, for sure.
for those reasons, I wish I was in an office. But now, are you doing like freelance full time?
It's a mix. So I've got a contract at the moment, and then I do freelance work as well. So I do sort of a few different things for work. So obviously 2D animation. I run like the YouTube and social media for a few different studios. Well, one's a studio, a few others are like small businesses. Like I run their YouTube channels and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then I also do editing as well. So I do this weird hybrid of things that like I'm good at all three, and there's also constant work for all three.
Yeah.
So I just take it as it comes. I'm like, all right,
Nice.
it's a pretty good I found a pretty good situation to be in. So yeah, so I do a mix of those sorts of things, and it also means that I'm not bogged down with animation constantly, because I did that for a while, and it was driving me mad.
Yeah, that you were just doing freelance animation and then on top of the ANIMUNCH stuff.
Yeah. So it's been a good mix where it's like I'm not doing the same. I'm not in Harmony every like 24 hours a day. I can actually use other programs and get to do a few different fun things. Yeah.
Nice. How long have you been doing that for? Like the freelance?
Pretty much since the pandemic, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, probably similar to you. So I was working in a studio before COVID, and then after that it was mostly like I had a contract, and then it was freelance work, and then once I started making the shorts for ANIMUNCH, I was trying to balance them all, and now I'm sort of doing just a mix of everything.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it seems like how like consistently are you posting on socials? Because it seems like you post pretty regularly.
I try to put out, my minimum is like one animation a month. Is like, that's, if I can hit that.
Yeah.
That's sort of like what I've tried to stick to the last maybe the last 4 years. I've put out like a minimum of one a month. I think I've done 100 comedy shorts all up. I think it might just be a bit over that, but like if I can just get one out a month, and then anything on top of that, great. But I'm sure you can relate. It's like, man, it's hard balancing that and then like client work and freelance. And then because like when you do freelance stuff, everything sometimes is just so last minute. Like something will come up, and I'll just like, if I jump on it, it's like, well, now I can't touch that stuff for ages. So yeah, it's sort of, you either have to make the time or just find the time.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever backlog animations when you have like extra time, or do you generally just post them as soon as you're done?
I don't backlog in probably the sense that you're thinking. Like, well, I've got a maybe pile on my computer of like, ideas that had something in there and I just haven't figured it out yet. And so
Hmm.
I never complete an animation and then just sit on it. But I've got ideas in here that are like half baked or like they're 50% complete, and something will happen where like in a few weeks' time, I usually just figure out one of those, and I'm like, oh, I know what that's meant to be now, and then I just finish off the other 50% and upload it. So in that sense, they're backlogged because I've got like 10 sitting in the maybe pile at the moment.
That
Where
you've
I
like
come back to
already
those.
started animating, and then you're just kind of
You
stopped because you
usually
weren't.
there's an animatic and the character designs are done, and then so from that point onwards, it's just like finalizing the poses, doing the in
Yeah.
betweens. So yeah, in that sense, that makes things a lot easier. Where it's like, all right, well, this is mostly there. Yeah, but yeah, I'd say yeah, every few weeks I'll upload an animation generally. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, because I mean, it seems like you've have like a pretty substantial following online. But also, I guess yeah, you've been doing it for a while now. Um,
It's the
'Cause, yeah, I feel
compounding
like
effect.
that's definitely like a struggle with animation doing. I mean, I guess it's better now that there's short form, but doing animations for the internet, it's like it takes so long to do them that it's like almost impossible to make a living off of it.
That's it. That's like I'm always like you know I try to like I go to like a lot of events here in Australia, like to do with animation and film and stuff,
Mhm.
and it's like whenever people look at my YouTube following or something, they're like, "So you must be rich off that or something," and I'm like, "Not at all. I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, there's such a difference between doing live action stuff on YouTube and animation, because if you've got that subscriber base and you're doing live action, that is so much quicker to turn around, and because you're putting out obviously more videos, you get more income off that. If
Yeah.
you're doing animation though, that's such a time investment. And then on top of that, then if you need to then bring on other people, it can get costly as well. So it's like, yeah, it's a different world. It's like you're saying, it takes a long time. That's why like I try to do 15-second shorts where it's like, for me, it's generally just something that's much more manageable in like the short term, because if you're trying to balance a long term, like if you're trying to balance like a long form or even just like 5-minute animation with client work or like with your work schedule, one, it's going to take so long. And then two, I know that I'm just going to lose interest halfway through and I'm going to be like, well, fuck doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be working on this in like, you know, ever since I did that pilot, I'm like, I'm not doing anything long form that's going to bloat out the schedule anymore. So yeah, that's basically the reason why I do the 15-second shorts.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even realize or consider that a lot of your animations are under a minute, because I know on TikTok to get paid for any of them, it has to be like above a minute. So are you like not really making anything from TikTok at least?
No, not from TikTok. From Meta definitely, because they just like, you just get ad revenue. You've got what's the same on Instagram as well, obviously, because Facebook and Instagram are owned by Meta. But yeah, no, not on TikTok. It's only on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, because there's no time limit on the reels. As long as you can keep uploading reels and you get engagement, that's all
Okay.
that matters.
I haven't
Yeah.
been able to figure out the payment through Instagram or Facebook. Is that like if you're posting them together on both Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, so you have to have 10,000 followers on Facebook. You have to have, there's a certain number of watch hours, similar to YouTube, how it's like 4,000 watch hours or something. It's the same thing on Facebook. So you have to have, yeah, all the watch hours, the the 10,000 followers, and then there's probably some other stuff, I don't know, but yeah, there's some requirements that they put in place for sure.
Okay, I gotta
But
look
yeah,
into that because I don't post any of my stuff on Facebook. I just keep it on Instagram. But I guess I should start doing that.
yeah, I don't really use Facebook that much, but I use Meta because my ANIMUNCH page is on there. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't sleep on it. I'll be honest. I told my creator friends here, I'm like, they're giving away money on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
you want to be on that platform?
Are there any type of forms of media that you like to consume while you're working?
Mostly music. I listen to podcasts and stuff as well. I saw like the Cybertruck videos you've been doing for Sam Rubinoff. Like I know he's, from what I could see on his socials or what I can see on his Instagram, he's friends with Joe List, like the Tuesdays with Stories is one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I listen to that. Are You Garbage? I listen to that as well. What else? Yeah, apart from that, like I listen to just a few comedy podcasts if I'm going to listen to anything, and then just music pretty much. I need the stimulus because I stopped drinking coffee last year, so it's like, man, doing animation and not having like caffeine is so fucking hard. So I have to have just like music blaring in my ears while I'm working just to stay like, focused, because it's as you know, such a draining thing sometimes.
Yeah. I need my caffeine. I'm always caffeinated. I did start switching over to doing like those mushroom coffees though instead.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and those like do it for me. Like I don't feel like I've been able to just like I don't really crave coffee as much as I used to. How do you usually push through creative blocks whenever you're I feel like you kind of answered this earlier when you were talking about your writing, but yeah, if you're ever hitting like creative blocks, do you do anything outside of animation to like get through it?
Yeah, I know. I definitely get I get that a fair bit. Like honestly, I'll shelve the idea if I'm working on it and I'm like, this isn't as funny as it could be. Because usually animation itself is not the problem. Once I've got an idea that it's good to go, I can just power right through it, and that's no problem. It's the idea itself. Like sometimes if it's not as funny as it could be, and we can't crack it. Like I can't crack it. Scott and Jaden, they're like, man, we got nothing here. Like this is the best we can think of. That's generally when I'll either shelve it or put it in the maybe pile, or like I'll reach out to one of my content creator friends and I'll just be like, I got this idea and it's like it's 70% there or whatever. It's just not quite working. That's when they'll either suggest it or they'll be like, no, like come back to it. I don't think you've got something here. I think just having that as well, like it's instead of me just like wallowing in it and being like, I can't figure this out. Let me go like, procrastinate for the next 5 weeks or whatever. I'm just like, let me just ask a few people and get their opinion on it first and then go from there. And then either I come back to it or I fix it. That's generally my process. I've never started an idea and then not put it out eventually because I don't like to waste it like that. So that's sort of my process. It'll get made in some way. It's just whether it's right now or it's in a few weeks' time. That's going to be the difference. So, but I definitely get that. Sometimes I'm struggling to come up with an idea or like come up with the right punchline for a concept, because concepts aren't the issue. For me personally, I can come up with concepts all day. It's like coming up with the right joke for it can be really difficult to do it in such a short period as well. So yeah, that's generally how I push through it. I just see what my mates think, or I come back to it. Sometimes I'll start another idea and then I'll then come back to that again later. So yeah, I just try to stay productive in some way with that process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about having collaborators, right? That you can bounce ideas off of. Because, I mean, I've definitely been in periods of just working on stuff by myself. And then it's like, you get too in your head about whatever you're working on. Doesn't matter how good it is. It's like, you get too in your head. And then all of a sudden you're like, is this even good anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, it can be I think as well, like, there was a period in 2023 where I really struggled trying to come up with, I was dealing with a lot of self-doubt because at the start of 2023, my YouTube took off. Like I'd been obviously posting videos for quite a few years that weren't getting any traction on YouTube. And then it just seemingly out of nowhere, like 5 videos went viral at once on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And what happened after that is I had exact same thing happen on social media at the same time. I had like 6 or 7 videos back to back that were like the best performing videos of my life. And I'm like, and I started getting in my head as I make the next one, I'm like, oh, well, that one just went crazy. And then every idea I would come up with, I'm like, well, this is going to be the one that's going to be like the one that like lets everyone down, or like, it's going to not do anything. And I got so in my head about it. I'm like, and I was like to Scott and Jada, I'm like, this is so ridiculous because we used to just come up with an idea and just make it. And that was what was fun about it. And then now I'm like doubting I'm like, no, we're going to rewrite this. We're going to rewrite that. Now let's try that again. And it was such like I look back now, it's so pointless. I'm like, because who gives a fuck? We just wanted to enjoy making a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
getting this carried away about it because I'm like, I don't want to. We just had this back-to-back streak. Like it's ridiculous looking back now.
Yeah, that's so interesting to hear because usually like you'll keep posting stuff and like none of them are hitting, and it's like you're on the opposite side thinking like this next one's gonna do it. This is gonna be the best one, and that's funny to hear. That's like then when you're hitting that high streak, now
It's
your
like, 'cause
worries is you still have the same worry, but now it's just flipped of being like this is gonna tank, like this is gonna do terrible, and then we're gonna lose
this
our
is the
streak.
interesting thing, right? Because like I had the same experience you're talking about when you're trying to get one to go. I had that for years. So I had that same experience. And then finally, when we started getting them that were like going viral, that's when, yeah, like you're saying, then all of a sudden I had the complete opposite. It was like, well, fuck, how do we keep this going now? Because it's like, not every idea is going to be a banger.
Yeah.
But, and not every idea is a banger, because after that as well, I also had like quite a few that flopped. But it's like, so I've just sort of learned that like if we find it funny, let's just make it, because you can't like it's so unpredictable as well, the internet. And so like let's just make what we find funny, and like just accept that some are going to do well and some are not going to do well. Like that's just the reality. But as long as you can try and make ones that do well most of the time, or like heading more in that direction, generally that's what we sort of strive for. So there's no perfect way of doing this. I've had ones that do well and then ones that flop. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's hard. It's always hard to tell, especially with just the algorithm. I mean, so you could make something that's like awesome, but maybe like the same day 4 other creators made really good things too, and then the algorithm's now pushing those. And I mean, nobody can figure out the algorithm right now.
It's a mixture of a good idea, a relatable idea, timing in the algorithm, using the right duration and the right hashtags, and it's a mix of so many different things that have to come together for a video to work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it still just has to be, when it comes to comedy, like it has to have enough comedy appeal to get engagement, so it's a mixture of all that stuff.
Like you're saying, I mean, the most important thing is as long as you think it's funny, because even if that one doesn't go viral, maybe 2 animations later, one of them goes viral, and then people will go to your page and then see the one that you really liked, and then that one will gain views again.
For sure. Yeah.
What do you feel like, as somebody who's been in the animation industry for a while, is like the hardest part of animation that somebody outside of the industry maybe wouldn't realize?
Just how long it takes. That's all I can think of, because when you're doing work for like freelance work for clients outside of the animation industry, or even just outside of the entertainment industry, like outside of video production and animation and stuff, I think they just don't quite understand how long this stuff can take, and what's involved. Like the amount of times I've had someone pitch me an idea, and they'll be like, the animation's only 1 minute long, like it shouldn't take you that long to do. And then I'll read the script and it'll be like action sequence, and then this happens, and then these 20 characters come in, and then this happens, and then like, but it's only a minute. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Let me lay out the fundamentals of what's happening here. There are 40 characters in total happening in this thing. This many people interacting with each other. This many like vehicles. I'm like, all of that, and then I'll break down, this is how long it takes to do one of those things. Now let's multiply that by each thing.
Yeah.
I think like some people, they look at the time of an like if you look at like one of my shorts and you're like, well, that's 15 seconds. That what'd that take you, like 2 hours or something? And I'm like,
right.
No. Look at what happens in that 15 seconds. I'm like, it's not the time itself, it's what's happening in the scene.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I could think of, like whether it be businesses or just like people just in general outside of the industry. Yeah, they just tend to look at like the runtime rather than the actual specifics of the scene or the animation that we've done.
Yeah.
It takes time. Also with different forms of animation, it takes completely different time with that as well, because something in like that's made in Blender is going to be way quicker to make than something that's made in hand-drawn 2D animation, because there's so many different tools and so many different methods and presets and creating assets and so much involved with it. Yeah.
I think all animators run into that issue when you're working for a client or making something with somebody that's not an animator. Yeah, there's plenty of times in my previous job that they would have, because I was the only animator there at the beginning, and I would have to, like, they would write these scripts, and then I would have to tell my boss who was writing the scripts, like, what was manageable and what was not manageable.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they would have, and like quickly we got to like figure out, they understood like what was manageable, what wasn't, so I didn't have to like correct them that much. But every once in a while they would have one of the other supervisors write a script or something, and they wouldn't like know, so they would just like go crazy. They would like, I would start reading the script when they hand it to me and be like, and then like an
The
army
helicopter
of
explosion.
1,000 people like came in, and I'm just like, what? An army? Like, you guys crazy? I'm like, max we can do is 5 people. That's what we can do for you guys. And then we can like maybe we could do like 3 different iterations, and we're gonna duplicate, and they're not gonna move. And they're like, okay. And I'm just like, we can't do like, because we would have to do them in a week. So it was like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
isn't
fuck that.
possible, guys. Like, what are you talking about?
That's why, like, I would, yeah, I've been through the same thing. I would be like, all right, I'd always be like, what do we want to get at? What do we want to tell with this? Like, what's the main message of this, or what do we want to get across? And then I'll be like, well, let's remove, that anime fight sequence. That doesn't need to be in there for this conversation. Let's just stick to, all right, how many characters need to be involved to get this message across? And they'll be like 3.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right, we're doing 3 characters now. With no walk cycles. Let's remove this part here. Yeah, I know what you mean. I would just like simplify it as much as we can down to its bare bones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you were mentioning earlier getting, like trimming all the fat and just being like, what, like, if there's something that someone wants to add, if it doesn't add to the joke in any way, then it's like, then there's no point. Don't put it in.
Yeah, because it doesn't
unless
add anything.
it really adds to the joke, then
yeah, it's just more work. And, the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have anything else you wanna add?
Not really. I think like, yeah, I suppose I'm hoping someone gets something out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just my process is pretty basic, I'd say, when it comes to animation. I'd say it's the same as most other 2D animators, only mine's probably just a bit more basic and simplified. Yeah, that's it really.
And then where can everyone find you on socials?
Yep. If you just look up ANIMUNCH on all the socials, I've got that handle, and then on YouTube as well. On ANIMUNCH, yeah. I think on Facebook, I think I'm ANIMUNCH Shorts. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, that's
okay.
For anyone that's still using that dead platform, that's where I am as well.
Nice.
Yeah, just ANIMUNCH online.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for joining in today. And for anyone listening, tune in next week for another animator in another episode.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of And I Made It. Alex, again, thanks for coming on, man. It was super sick having you on. Thank you to my buddy Nick Hassenlop, who made the intro and outro song to these episodes. If you'd like to check out his music, you can look him up as Nick Hassenlop on Spotify, and he has his full piano album on there. It's really good. Yeah, besides that, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next week with a brand new animator and a brand new episode. Cheers.